Wasn't planned
Yeah, I've seen that
but it's
game.
very deliberate by the person who put it in the
I've
game.
seen it 9.
And is very resonant for Destiny players and resonant for me as a person. And that line is, Guardians make their own fate.
Never heard of that story. I don't know who that alien is. That sounds interesting
That
though.
still gives me goosebumps. For me, that has sort of become a touch point for the Destiny story. Again and again, external forces come and try to impose.
Worst fucking villain ever. They just erased the entire Destiny 2 story. It all got sunset, so you can't even find this guy again. He's just gone. Just removed.
A fate upon you and humanity.
Yeah, I think Florida's great. I'm a
And
huge
again
fan
and
of it.
again, you show them that they can't do that.
And I'm not sure what my new build's gonna be.
We make our own fate. That's not just a powerful theme of Destiny, it's also a powerful theme for us as people, as both developers and as humanity. We make our own fate.
I'm wishing the absolute best 666, but it's all just RNG when we do that.
When you're talking
hoping
about
the
10
best
years
for
of
you.
story, there's a lot of stuff crammed in there, and there's a lot of things that we could do and
Drone
could
racing's
talk
cool,
about.
yeah.
But as storytellers, the hardest part isn't coming up with the ideas, it's knowing which ones are the important ones. We want to tell a story that makes you, the player, feel like all of that time that you invested, we saw you, and we want to give you the experience.
Well, it's
that
about
you've been
time.
waiting for.
Where was this thought philosophy during Lightfall? Lightfall had no story at all. I mean, better late than never, but Jesus Christ.
We looked at everything we had, we laid it all out,
Guess we should treat it.
whiteboards and like everything.
We were trying to look for a theme that felt resonant, not just for this story, but for Destiny as a
Maybe
whole.
Chorito.
And the theme that we kept coming back to was purpose and fate. And that's what this story is about, not just for ourselves as the player, but also for our characters.
I used to think
Thanks for membership,
I'd
Purple.
give anything to bring you back.
I cried quite a few times doing those scripts because I treated it with the love of a fan. Every time I opened a script, I was like, what would I want to see? What would I want to hear?
I hope the answer to those questions was pretty much nothing Lightfall provided. I hope, what would I like to see as a fan? Pretty much the exact opposite of what we got in Lightfall. Run it.
Their emotional journey, the
Thanks,
struggle of
membership
how do
savior.
we defeat the Witness.
Let's bring an end to your futile exertions.
The Witness sees itself as the one true God. So it's come to the Traveler because it needs the power of the Traveler's light to finish this vision.
Its goal is salvation. Why don't you want that?
Be reborn.
Our mission is to make sure that we can prevent it from getting the light, the thing that it needs, in order to...
That sounds
make
hype,
it all
Atlas.
happen.
Tell him congrats.
It's finally confronted the Traveler, and here we are, thorns in its side, a blip on its radar, trying to make a difference.
You're gonna speak to the Witness, and the Witness is gonna shine a light on some things, and you wonder, like, what would it be like?
Is
What
that
would it
right,
be like to
Frito?
be a disciple of the Witness?
Still a great game no matter what.
Guardian's use has yet to be determined. We're in need of a god killer.
Thanks for sub pardon.
Every time you hear the Witness, you're not just hearing one voice, you're hearing whispers in the background, you're hearing all of these other textures.
I watched the Nasubi documentary on Hulu. It was pretty good.
You can feel
It was very interesting
a
hearing from him
subtext
directly as
sometimes
well
where
as the guy
real
behind it.
witness comes through, or at least things that it doesn't want you to know about it come through.
There is only suffering!
Putting characters into pressure cookers is what storytellers do best. And I can't imagine a more intense pressure cooker than it's the end of the world. If we fail, everything is frozen forever, and only we can do it. It's just the handful of us inside of a god.
Hey, Sneaky.
There
Good
were
to
a
see ya.
couple of themes.
Yeah,
that we
checking
had
out the
when we started
ViDoc.
on the Bill Hard. The two main ones that I remember were Surreal and Shattered to Spire.
Seeing how they put a tiny little guardian
There's
at
Tier 1
the
Snowy.
beginning of this vast journey
there a new Shiv
that's
map?
spreading out in front of you really put into perspective the scale that we needed to hit in order to make the
And yeah, I've
Bill
kept up with all the
Hard look and
ViDocs.
feel dangerous. and ambitious
These are
and
baggy.
vast.
When we were thinking of surreal things, it was a bit of a challenge because how do you make something surreal? For me is putting familiar things out of context. What is the thing when you turn the corner that you are not expecting? So
In
that's when we
Destiny,
play
a
with scale, we
good
play
story,
with
maybe?
unexpected things, repetition.
There's this awesome piece of concept art that is like this massive ghost in the horizon, and you just like go over there and it's just like broken down in the middle.
Thanks, Reset
And it's
Drew.
just weird in a way that is unsettling, but at the same time feels very visceral.
Another one that we used was body parts, and it sounds a bit strange because we didn't want to do body horror.
Oh, you
So
should
I
have.
was taking screenshots from the game.
Body horror would go
just
crazy in
trying to
Destiny.
find
Oh, but
silhouettes and
Destiny's
things.
rated T, isn't it? Hold on, I think Destiny's T rated. All it's giving me is the reviews. I just want to know if it's M or T. I think it's T. Oh my god. Okay, chat, is it T? It is T. Okay, I thought so. Body horror would have been really cool for that, actually. Shame. Thanks for membership, James.
That will look surreal, and I start replacing all the trees with hands. So all the limbs was made out of fingers coming out. And
That's so fucking sweet.
eyes
Thank
were
you
on
for
the
that,
floor.
Arma, and happy early
And
birthday.
I do remember our direction was like that. Like, more
And I haven't seen
hands.
Remembrance.
Are there hands holding up the
Thank you for
freeway
that,
in
Arma.
which we were born? Yes. You'll recognize it instantly.
No, did you send
and
me
then
something sneaky?
almost
I'll check
as
it after
quickly,
stream.
You'll realize you've never been here before.
I definitely feel like there's some aspects of the Pale Heart where like, this is freaking weird and scary. I want to take that risk. I want to push a little bit of what expectations of a destination can be, and I hope that players love that.
As players progress, they get to see more influence of the Witness, not just on the Traveler, but also on the races that it's interacted with
membership
that we've
Sage.
seen so far.
Where are all the surfers at, though?
The Dread are a result of the Witness experimenting with the light. So while it's inside the Pale Heart, it's able to access the light as it's trying to.
Oh, I love
save it.
another Crab's
It is
treasure, yeah. I
using
think it's
that light
great.
to create and alter new and different combatants. And so we've encountered some of these members before. Now we have a name for them.
The new
membership,
Dread
Todd.
units. They're using a new language, collaborating with narrative. We went through and used this constructed language tool to generate different phrases and figure out like grammar structures and other things. The pyramid language that the new Dread units speak is actually translatable. So players, if they're really interested in figuring out what the pyramid units are saying, could decipher these.
That's cool, I like that.
Yen it get. Baktoku vakad. The husks
I like that. I think
are
that's
an
very-
interesting
very cute.
addition to Destiny because you've never
Maybe
fought
get some
anything
snowy.
like them
Maybe
before.
some Mason. Thanks
We
for that,
talked
Madam.
about, oh yeah, there needs
Membership,
some big
Joshua.
weapons. Like, it needs to look like this thing is serious business. They
No worries at all. Thank you for
wanted
that, Num.
Bit of a secondary unit on
Thanks
it,
for
so like
kindness.
a 2-in-1. As the sketches were progressing, we were kind of like, oh, this
Super
looks
excited
like
for Modern
it's
Horizons
sentient.
3.
And we just
They got a
love
new
the
Psychic
idea.
Frog.
We had all these different sound effects in our library of water bladders that make some really cool sounds when they're shaken. We used some sounds of slapping jello too. So that was kind of the foundation.
That's what they do for Mortal
We have
Kombat
all
as
these
well.
real physical sounds that come together and feels like an alien moving around in the stomach of this thing. The collaboration between the different disciplines and the trust we have for each other. At the end, it comes out better than anybody could have made individually.
No, I won't be able to compete for World First in the final shape raid. We won't be in the state.
There's a moment where you realize, looking at the final shape, that it's not just a story about the Guardian's journey.
There's
It's
Brian
also
Curley and
kind of
Marisa
the story
Merwin.
of
We're
Destiny's
venturing
journey.
out of Florida for like
It starts in
about
place
9
of
days.
uncertainty and challenge, and then it changes and evolves, and it proceeds forward into the unknown. And as you get closer to the final shape, those two experiences converge. We know where we're going. We know where we're aiming for.
I feel very confident about the love and the work and the thoughtfulness that everyone working on this release put into it. And I think it's inevitable that when people
Oh yeah, I keep
start
up with another
going
Crab's
in
Treasure
and
speed runs.
experiencing all these
I'm very familiar.
things that make up this expansion, I think they're gonna see it.
I won't lose another soldier in this war.
It's not a vending machine, it's a claw machine, and yes, we're about 3 weeks out from it being done. Thanks for that, Baby Pie. That was sweet. Thanks for use of Mirth and King. It's hard to get excited for Destiny after being burned so many times, but Final Shape is looking pretty good. It is looking pretty good.